Welcome back to another flashlight review. Today we're going to be talking about the Nitecore MH12SE. I've only just found out about this flashlight over the last month, have used it for a few weeks now, and I've got to say this is now in my top 3 pocket-friendly tactical flashlights. I know some of you have been following my posts, and I've been talking about looking for a premium light that could outmatch my Workhorse FC12, and I've found it. This is it, the MH12SE. So it's a 21700 cell light, but it's almost as small as the FC12. I'll do a bit of a comparison in a moment, and also has superior throw and additional features. So bring it up a little bit closer so you can have a look. You can see it's got this nice shiny black anodization all across the body. There's lots of knurling in various places where you can attach the friction ring. So it's mainly these two places here. What I've done is that I've just put it up the top so that I can carry it a little bit deeper in my pocket. It does stay put. Sometimes it does drag down a little bit, but it stops there in that ridge anyway. But yeah, it's just mainly these two spots here. But of course, I like to put it up a bit further. The knurling is grippy, and I think that's important due to the anodization, which is very smooth, a little bit slippery in areas. The overall styling feels very military and professional. Feels more like I'm using some kind of professional tool rather than a stock standard flashlight. IP68 rating, 1 meter impact resistance as well. So the MH12SE comes with an SFT 40. As you can see, it's housed in a smooth, deep reflector. There's also a black retaining square around the LED that helps create a cleaner beam profile. No ringiness at all, which was something that surprised me. It's also got an AR glass lens in the front. As you can see here, the light actually comes with a number of accessories. I've taken out the battery and pulled off the tail cap as well, but you've got this little holster as well. You've got this cartridge. Basically, you can put in some CR123 cells in here, or you can put in an 18650 cell and use that with the light as well. This is the battery that it comes with, the Nitecore NL2150 and 5000 milliamp hour. Okay, this is just a normal 21700 cell with a protection circuit, but you can use any other 21700 or 18650 cell. It doesn't have to be proprietary cell, which is an important thing in my books. Another cool thing is that it comes with onboard charging. Just got to pull up this flap here, and it's sealed very, very tightly. Okay, USB-C charging, so you don't need an external charger or anything like that. You see quite a few tactical flashlights that do not have that external charging, and that can be annoying at times, so it's good to see. And I'll just put it in the holster to show you what it looks like. But basically that just goes on your belt, attaches onto your belt, and then yeah, slips in like that. You can pull it out so you can deploy it very easily. This is more designed for law enforcement personnel, not something that I'm going to be using myself on a day-to-day basis. So this is the MH12SE compared to some of my other tactical flashlights. The main comparison I wanted to show you guys was the FC12 and the MH12SE. There's barely a difference. The battery tube and part of the bezel is a little bit wider, but really I can't tell the difference between either of these in my pocket, but you get so much better performance out of that one. And obviously compared to these other lights here, the P16, this is the Nitecore P23i and Nextorch TA30 Max. I mean, this is going to be a lot easier to carry around in your pocket than these three, especially these two, because of that larger bezel. It does feel a little bit awkward in your pocket. So there's quite a few different features in the UI that you might want to be aware of. I'll do some demonstrations. So in order to see what the battery voltage is, you just basically press this button here, the side switch, and then press the tail switch, and it will blink out 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Hang on. Oop. Try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's 4 volts. It was actually 4.1 before, but yeah, 4 volts, it will blink it out. But yeah, if it's 4.1 or 3.7, it will pause in between and then blink out the second half. So 1, 2, 3, pause, and then another 7 blinks with 3.7 volts. So there's 2 modes in here. There's daily mode and there's also tactical mode. So I've actually got it on the daily mode at the moment. So I will show you how that what you get with it. So daily mode, you basically switch it on using the tail cap. You've got access to that momentary mode as well through the tactile switch. You switch it on and just cycle through by clicking this button. So it accesses all 5 brightness modes, okay? It does have mode memory as well. So say if I leave it on this one, turn it off, turn it back on, it memorizes that mode, okay? You can even just leave it on the lowest mode like that, turn it off, and yeah, you've got access to that one as well. What you can do is you can actually hold down this button for 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, and it strobes, okay? But if you continue to hold it, so if you go 3, yeah, strobe, and then it actually goes to beacon mode and then also to SOS mode. So you kind of just release the button when you're onto the mode that you want to keep, I guess. And the daily mode just allows you access to more the SOS and the beacon mode. Okay, now how do you change modes into tactical? Now tactical is the one that I use all the time pretty much. So you press this button, you hold this, okay, and then you're going to get a blink, couple of blinks, 2 blinks like that. So, and it now just switches to tactical mode. So on tactical mode, you basically can only change the mode memory to turbo or strobe. Okay, so for example, I've got it on turbo at the moment. Press and hold that button. Okay, now it's gone into strobe. Turn off, and then momentary switch. I can access that strobe. Turn it on, so I can just put it back onto whatever I want, like turbo. Actually, I don't think it can remember the other one. So even if I have it on like a lower mode like this one, whoops, the lower mode like this one, switch it off, switch it on, it goes straight back into turbo. Okay, so you access that no matter what you do, you either only have access to turbo or strobe through that back button. Okay, and you can't access also, like I mentioned before, the SOS or the beacon mode, only the strobe mode from the tactical. So this light is rated at 1800 lumens. The smooth reflector provides an intense hotspot with smooth spill, something I mentioned before, which I was very surprised in, because dealing with other smaller reflector lights like this, especially deeper reflector lights, they produce these ringy beams. They don't look very nice at all. So I was surprised that there were no artifacts at all within the beam. You can check out the beam shots in a moment. So I also ran some tests, and you can see here, ceiling bounce tests. The light doesn't last very long on turbo before it starts ramping down. I'd say close to half a minute before it actually starts dropping, and it's kind of like a gradual drop up until the 2-minute mark, where it holds on about 50 to 60% of its total output. So yeah, with a smaller body like this, it's something that can be expected. Definitely is not going to be able to hold that for very long. But if you're using it on momentary to illuminate objects in the distance here and there, you're going to be completely fine. Did some tests also on my Opal Light Master Pro, and on 100% I got 442 meters of throw, 6244K, and CRI is 69.3. So 442 meters of throw. That is pretty significant for such a little light like this. I mean, a lot of lights with much larger bezels can't even throw that sort of distance. So Nitecore have somehow just optimized this light to the max, and that's really what I'm looking for. Even though, you might only get about half a minute of, that 440 something meter throw, I think it's really impressive. Some considerations: I think a second button on the tail switch would have been nice to access both one-step strobe and turbo without having to program it in constantly. It's becoming standard on many tactical flashlights these days, but I get that with the size of this light as well, it might have been a tricky thing, though. Yeah, it might have been good to just have like another second smaller switch there. Not a deal breaker for me. I mainly just access the turbo on that back switch. Step down also happens almost immediately, like I mentioned before, and I did notice this also on the Nitecore P23i. So yeah, something to keep in mind. It's a high candela flashlight, so if you're using it for a walking light or something like that, I think it's going to be a bit tricky, especially if you're using it mainly for 10 to 40 meters up close. You'll have to drop it down into the lower modes, and it's not going to produce as much spill as a light that has orange peel reflector. But again, this is a purpose-built flashlight. It's a tactile flashlight, and built for long range performance as well. Another thing is that it doesn't tail stand, so yeah, you probably can just balance it on the tail, I don't know, but it doesn't, generally doesn't tail stand. So in summary, this is my go-to tactical EDC flashlight these days. It's the one I carry around most often just due to the balance of convenience and overall performance. The beam is very nice and throws a lot further than you'd expect. The fact that it's so small for a 21-700 cell is a big selling point for me, as you have the reassurance of that extra battery capacity. But it's great that it takes primaries and 18650s as well, non-proprietary. It's just got everything that you want in a pocketable tactical flashlight. So if you're interested in this flashlight, check out the link in the description below. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. There's probably a few things I've missed out. Finally, if you like this video, do me a favor and click the like button. That helps me to get this out to more people. And if you want to see me make more light reviews, make sure you subscribe.
All right, we've got the Nitecore MH12SE, and let's go straight onto turbo. I'm just so impressed how a light with such a small bezel, 24mm, is able to throw that far. And I really like this beam on it as well. It's you know, often when you get these SFT lights with reflectors, you get some ringiness at times, but you know, an uneven blend into the flood. But this is just so smooth. I mean, you've got that center beam that is bright as anything, and then you've got this surrounding flood, as you can see here. Some kind of animal running through the okay. Oops. Try not to make it come over here. There we go. And I'm just sort of activating it, deactivating the light, just seeing if it will hold that turbo. And I can't notice it ramping down all too much, but it does ramp down, you know, within 30 seconds, I believe. You can also click that button on top and access these lower modes. Okay, there, that side switch there. So you can actually, I mean, these other ones are probably going to hold the brightness for longer, and that can still hit everything off in the back. That's not even the highest mode. This is the highest mode. Incredible, absolutely incredible. This is one of my favorites, and I've been carrying this one around with me as my main EDC. Actually, it's just, I mean, even with all this rain, kind of wanted to end the beam shots and do it another day actually, but I think this just highlights how good this light is at cutting through fog or whatever, even the rain. Look at that. I'll go for a quick walk,